Sponsored by 666bet.com.
Couldn't catch this iPhone TV in association with Metro from Marlborough and 666bet Echo Arena. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Still going.
It's still going. Right, okay, let's sum up the night. Well, you sum up the night for me.
A long night, some great action. The main event was a little disappointing, I felt. I mean, obviously the talk was unreal, the hype was unreal, and it was just an average fight, really. I mean, first 4 or 5 rounds, I think it was quite technical. I think 8, 9, 10 became exciting. They were punching on the right. I think his size just took over. It was the only result, actually, that I didn't see coming. I didn't think Bellew'S would win on points. I felt Cleverly would win. It's disappointing that he hurt his hand. You know, we don't know the extent of that injury, but he has damaged his hand. He didn't throw his right hand from after, I think, round 2. So, you know, I think that I had it wider than that. I don't know how you scored it, but I was surprised that one judge gave it to Cleverly, and I was surprised that it was a split decision. But, you know, we hoped for a better fight, just decent fight, but not as good a fight as I expected it to be. I think both fighters were a little bit overawed by the occasion, by the attention they've had in the build-up to this fight, and I think there was a lot of nervous energy as well. They both looked tired in the back end of the fight after 9, 10 rounds. And that's actually when it became more interesting, because they were fighting on the inside and exchanging more.
Would you encourage a third fight?
I think there's grounds for a third fight. It's just about, it wouldn't be as big as that. So, therefore, it's very difficult to go back, isn't it?
Maybe we'll talk about the Millennium Stadium, but that's not realistic.
No, I don't think so. I mean, listen, it was a great event, it was a great build-up, there's some big fights on the card, everybody, you know, it was a great atmosphere, the production was fantastic, but the fight didn't live up to the expectations. So to do a third would be difficult, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would still do well, but it wouldn't do as well as tonight.
And just the rest of the card, let's start with James Gale.
Great performance. I mean, arguably the standout performance. Thought Howard Foster stopped it a little bit early, to be honest, but I think he would have stopped Paraban seconds after. Just the quality of the performance, and you know, he deserves credit because Paraban was a tough fight. You know, he gave Sakio Bika hell for 12 rounds, really close fight, and De Gale demolished him. You know, again, had some great exchanges in the fight, and he came to fight De Gale. You know, he was very exciting, he wanted to make a statement, and I thought that was a great performance.
Anthony Joshua, first round, destruction of Michael Spratt.
I mean, you know, Joshua's just not going to get the credit. You know, people say, oh, Michael, this is a guy, he's had, like, you know, he's been around. But he's demolishing these people with such ease. And, you know, we announced after the fight, Kevin Johnson on the 31st of January at the O2. A proper fight. It's
you might want to tell him that, he's not too sure.
Oh, Joshua?
Yeah, he was like, did he confirm that? I was like, yeah, in front of you.
So he's going on holiday now, Josh, for a little break. And then we get back for that. It's a good fight for him. Someone who you'd think would take rounds. You know, he took Chisora 12 recently and never been stopped. No, but 12 with Klitschko, 12 with Fury. Frustrates you a little bit. I think it's a good learning fight for him. So that'll be O2 at the 31st of January. George Groves was, I mean, early on in that fight, after 3 or 4 rounds, I thought he was going to lose the fight. You know, he was trading up and getting tagged, and it was really exciting, but Douglin just run out of gas, probably after 7 or 8 rounds, and then Groves took over, bashed up Grove, bad nose, and, you know, all sorts. It was entertaining, but I've got to give credit to George Groves because he's always in entertaining fights. You know, that could have been a routine victory for him tonight, but it wasn't. You know, he made it exciting. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. He's not my fighter, but, you know, he got tagged bad by Douglin at times, and they were having big trade-ups. And, you know, it was an exciting fight.
Scott Quigg probably took it longer than, or took it distance.
How tough is a target?
He was tough.
Oh my God, he absolutely nailed him with every shot in the book. And he kept coming, kept coming. You know, it was a good fight. Otaki deserves credit, you know, but again, a good performance from Quigg. And nice to see him do the rounds, you know, but he's ready now. We know that, you know, he's ready for Frampton, he's ready for all those big fights. You say he's ready,
what's going to happen next year?
But, you know, it takes two to, you know, to make these fights.
Is it that hard to make this Frampton fight?
It is, because, you know, they're going to fight Avalos. So listen, they want to take care of the manager. I don't blame them for that. But even, you know, it's so easty to make the fight. But yeah, I can't see the ease of making the fight, and it's frustrating because, you know, I want to get it done.
Jamie McDonald, a little bit, obviously, disappointment that Chacon pulled out with
Jamie McDonald, I mean, actually, by the 10th round, Jamie was okay. But after 6 rounds, I was absolutely bricking it. Chacon, you know, I told you in the build-up, Chacon was going to be much more dangerous than the other opponent. He was bracking him to the body, hurt him as well. And after 6 rounds, I had it all square. I might have even had Chacon maybe one up. and I thought Jamie took over, and just in the 10th round he just started to find his range. Actually the Spanish agent came over and said he dislocated his shoulder in the 9th round, I think, Shekon, which was a result, and that was horrible times because of the Kameda fight that's already done. You know, I was worried after 6 rounds badly. Sometimes difficult to get yourself up for a fight when you know you're signed into another major fight after.
Rough date and time and venue?
Probably March in America versus Kameda in a unification.
Okay. Callum Smith went...
Good, yeah, good performance. I mean, listen, Callum's had a tough time. His nan passed away, and you know how close the Smith family are. So I was pleased for him to get out with his good performance, tough performance. You know, Serge Locker's very, very tough, very experienced and clever as well. Great performance. You're going to see Callum moving up the WBC rankings now. Probably one more fight in the spring, and then a final eliminator in the summer.
And a routine 6 rounds for Bradley Saunders tonight.
Yeah. I mean, Bradley's rusty. You know, he was out for 6 months, so got into his groove in the 5th and 6th round, and look forward to April in Newcastle.
But overall,
listen, I thought it was an entertaining show. Obviously, the main event wasn't the fight that we hoped. I thought it was a decent fight without being a great fight. But you know, I don't know what to tell you. And I thought the production, the entertainment, the fights were great, but the main event wasn't good enough. You know, it wasn't what we hoped it would be. But you know, all in all, okay. But you know, I think the general response, you know, reading my Twitter was the main event wasn't what people hoped for. But they enjoyed the night, and hopefully people enjoyed the night. Sometimes the hype you know, doesn't quite deliver. If there was no hype, you probably would turn around and go, it was a decent fight. Do you know what I mean? But because everyone was on the edge, and the atmosphere was great, the production was great, you know, it was a big night, it had that big event feel. But we just wanted a little bit more in the main event.
Alright, well listen, thanks for talking to TV, and last show of the year for your prize fighter.
December 6th.
December 6th. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
The Big Fight, sponsored by 666bet.com.